Today we have a Volkswagen Polo, okay, about a 2010 model, 2013 model. We're going to be doing the rear, you know, the water flange on the. So what I normally do, I normally just take the battery out, the battery box out, because it's obviously in the way. Okay, so we'll remove the battery firstly. Okay, just put that one side. Okay, down at the bottom here holds the battery tight. The battery doesn't roll around. Okay, so we'll just take that out. That's your bracket there. Okay, that's your bracket with a bolt. And then quite simply the battery just comes out of the way like that. Okay, just put that out of the way, and then of course we'll take the pipe off. So the pipe has these little clips here, okay, that holds it in, okay, and then it has one clamp over there, which we just have to activate and get out of the way. And then now you could actually see, sometimes I do prefer to take out this box as well, you know, the battery box, because it does seem to get in the way. So it's just 2 bolts there. Okay, there's a 3rd bolt in the corner here, okay, down there. Alright, so that tray comes out of the way. Okay, so we'll begin by taking off, you know, this unit, the sensor. We'll just pull that out completely, okay. We just set that one side. That's the clip that basically holds it. And then we'll just open up all these pipes here that in the way. Okay, the top and the bottom radiator hoses, and we might have to take the. Okay, just try and tuck that pipes out of the way. We're probably going to have to take off the, what you call the radiator, or the heater hoses, okay, because we need to clear this unit here, okay, which is basically what we've come for, to replace. Alright, so here's lots of little things in the way. You might need to just take a few things out of the way there. Here is as I said, the heater hoses, okay, which you just basically have to loosen the clamp and pull the hoses off, quite simply. But the main unit is here, okay. The main unit is basically this unit here. So it takes a Torx, I think it's a 30 Torx, and then we'll be loosening off that whole unit. So quite simply, we have size 30 Torx, okay, bit, which we're going to be using. It seems to be, okay, we've got one there. Okay, we'll turn them out all the way. I'll show you what the bulk looks like. Okay, there should be about 4 that holds the whole unit on. So that's it, size 30 Torx, okay. You can see the length, that's about 25 more. So we have one there, we have one up there. They can be a bit tight sometimes because of corrosion and time. So, you know, with these Torx bolts, just be very careful that you know, the spanner doesn't slip inside, you know, the bolt, because then it'll spoil that thread there, or the grip section, you know, of the bolt head, and then you're going to have a swell time taking it out. Okay, there's another one. They're all basically the same. Then we have it's so corroded I can't even see that bolt, but can you see the necessity for taking out the battery? Okay, if we had the battery in place here, it would just not work so well. Okay, so that just gives us that space and that clearance to work nicely. I've tried taking these things out with a battery in place, and believe you me, you know, it's not an easy task. I've done it just to experiment to see if it can be done, but I actually wouldn't recommend it. You know, taking the battery out just makes it very easy. Well, much easier. Okay, no job's easy. So we got another bolt in there. I just can't see that one. And that's where we might need a light. Yeah, it's in there. Let's just get that one out. Keep it straight until you've got your ball loosening up. Okay, you can now actually see the water running out where the flange connects with the head, you know, the backside of the cylinder head. So now here's another thing that we have to take out of the way. The pipe that runs down the side, it does have a clip here which we need to unclip. Alright, so here's a clip here. You'll see that clip. You just have to, yeah, it's basically a big clip that holds the pipe in once. You can just take the flange now and you can wiggle the flange, and that's it. Okay, that's what our flange looks like completely. That's where the pipe went in over there, and that is the groove for the clip. Okay, so the clip fits in there. Okay, so the clip basically goes in like that. Okay, and that will hold, as you can see, it will hold the pipe in. Okay. So what I normally do is, I just normally use like a Stanley blade, you know, to just scrape off all that corrosion. Okay, clean it up nicely with a piece of sandpaper, and you should be okay there. Right, look, I've got an air line here. Yeah, so I just blew all that debris away. So she's nice and clean now, all ready to take a new flange. Okay. Okay, so I've got a new unit. There's our old unit over there. We just need to make sure that we've got the correct unit. Take it out of the box, out of the package. Basically, we're overlaying it. Let's take the new one out of the package. And it looks right. Okay. It definitely looks right. They even supply you with a new sensor. Okay, there is even a new sensor in the new one. Alright, the old sensor was taken out there. So it's the top and bottom radiator hose, the switch, and then of course you have your two heater pipes. Okay, that clips in, that goes in there. So, alright unit, let's go and put it. Oh yes, just before we go, you can see here, that's the thermostat in there. Okay, you can see the rubber, you know, that new rubber thing over here. Okay, so no need, what I would just do, because the car is old, you know, on the car side, I just put a little bit of Victor irons on there just to help it seal. Okay. Okay, so we'll be putting this unit on. Okay, we'll put it into position. Make sure that you get that unit to slide into the pipe nicely. Remember the pipe that comes from the back of the water pump. Okay, just make sure that that goes in, fits in nicely into that pipe. Okay, and we'll put our flange in. What we'll normally do, as usual, we will just take our bolts and we will thread our bolts. You know, make sure that we get thread You know, that's what we normally do before we start tightening them up. So we just put in one, give it some thread there, make sure it's got nice thread. Put in the second one, make sure it gets nice thread. Okay, we just want to make sure that we've got good thread there. Right, we'll get the bottom ones in. Just make sure that you've got nice clean thread, no cross threading. Okay. And the third one, the fourth one. Be in there. Okay, we'll just get it turned in, and then once we got them threaded, we can start tightening them up. Okay. So just simply use your socket and your ratchet, and we'll just tighten them up nicely. Okay, I won't bore you with this, so I'll get back to you as soon as I've got this all tightened up. And then of course we've got a new unit over here. So we just need to plug that in. Okay, plug it in. So also remember now that we need to bleed the system. We've done this bleeding before. We're getting the coolant in, you know, as much as we can. I bought 2 liters for this car. Once it falls up like that, okay, you go here and then you pull this clip that holds the sensor in. Just make sure that the o-ring of the sensor comes out as well. Okay, all right. And as you can see, the water is now running out. Okay, so that means that there's no air. So we'll put that sensor back. Okay, we'll put the clip back that holds the sensor in, and then we'll go and we'll top up, okay, the antifreeze. Top it up to the brim, it will purge itself. Okay, I don't normally, you know, take it to the maximum there. I take it way over because, you know, there might be some air pockets that will still bleed out as well. And then, you know, with that back now I can put back the battery. Okay, you know, that's quite simple. I'll film it so that you can see how simple it is. We put back the battery, but you see, we check for leaks here. Okay, before we put that battery back, we just check for leaks. No drips or anything here now. So we'll get that battery and the battery box back. There we are. Battery tight, shaking around. She won't move around. Okay, and then of course we have our, we'll just put our pipes nicely in place here, like that. So now we can just go ahead and start the car. Pump the water through the system, you know, and we'll just monitor for leaks as we go along, which is important. Okay, we make sure that we fill up that. we'll just fill up the water, fill up the coolant level right to the top. It will basically purge itself. Right, so all done. You know, she's regulating her temperature properly, there's no leaks. So the main things are, make sure you put that clip back there. Make sure you put the clip back in the big pipe at the back over here. Okay, make sure that's all done. Make sure that you tighten up your battery and your battery terminals. Okay, and that's basically how we do a flange, you know, on a CLP Vw Polo engine. Okay, in conclusion, I put on a new cap. Okay, because that other cap didn't have that last lock. You know, when you close the cap, you hear that click. You hear that click there? That's to say it's closed properly, it's locked now. That other cap didn't have it. Okay, and that could be that it wasn't closing properly and it was leaking water through the cap. Then, of course, we put this pipe back. Okay, I've checked for leaks. I had it running for quite a while now. She seemed to be regulating the temperature. Okay, so I'm happy that the job is done. This guy's not going to have any more water problems. He did mention to me, this is interesting, that the minute he started his car and he drove down the road, he heard the fan go on. Now what I discovered is that he drives with his aircon on permanently. Alright, now when you put your aircon on, there is a slow speed fan that goes on. Okay, that helps keep the car cool because of the drain of the AC. Okay, so just bear that in mind as well. Once I switch the AC off, the fan switched off as well. Okay, keep that in mind. So when the car gets to a certain temperature, the fan goes on like this car does. You can hear it cools down because you know now this car is standing here, it's idling here. There's no wind coming across the radiator to cool it down. Okay, so it creates its wind by when it reaches a certain temperature, the fan will go on and it will suck air across the radiator to cool the engine down. Okay, alright, so thanks for joining me with this procedure.